Don't look now. The Minnesota Twins, they've won 2 in a row. They beat the Rockies tonight 5-1. We're breaking it all down. It's coming up next on the Locked On Twins POSTCAST.
You are Locked On Twins POSTCAST, part of Locked On Minnesota on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Minnesota Twins POSTCAST episode right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. You got myself, Luke Inman, at Luke_Spinman. That's the man, C.J. Baumgartner, Twins expert over at Zone Coverage MN. He's on X at BaumCJ30. And CJ, before we jump into all the action from tonight, quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers, you're getting $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon today to get started. All right, man. Finally back at home after 9 in a row on the road. Now they get 10 in a row back at home in the backyard at Target Field. Winners of 1 in a row, trying to make it 2 in a row, get some momentum back. Chris Paddock on the mound for this one. Third inning, Santana leads things off with a triple. Vasquez, sac fly, makes it 1-0. Next inning, Carlos Correa knocks in Royce Lewis. That makes it 2-0. And then in typical Twins fashion this year, and I know I've called this out on the show before, they score the most right at the end of the game. 3 in the 8th, Royce Lewis, another home run, Larnach with a sac fly. And that was pretty much all she wrote, man. Twins win at 5-0. They jump up to 35-31 on the year. Let's talk Paddock here in a second. But first, as always, biggest takeaways, kind of topics from Game 1 versus Colorado.
I mean, I know you said we're going to touch on it, but Chris Paddock pretty much shutting the Rockies down, just basically put the Twins in position to win the ballgame. You mentioned that earlier of the offense waiting to score until later in the game, but just getting 1 or even 2 runs early allows Paddock not just to have a little bit of security with that run support, but also allows Rocco Baldelli to pitch him a little bit later in the game. He got into the 7th inning, pitched 6 and a third. And that's just the thing. The offense does come along late. It felt like this all season long where they kind of tack on all those runs late. And that's great if you have a couple runs already. If it's 0-0 and you're banking on every game being close like that late, you're not going to be as successful. When you have that lead and compile on, it just really helps out. But yeah, the story of the game has to be Chris Paddock.
Yeah, let's do a little bit more of a deep dive on him. And we were talking right before we came on here. You know, we didn't get to do Sunday's postcast. Of course, the one fun game, right, goes into extras. They score 11 runs. They win the game. So the last game we did, and that was myself and Theo, was Saturday. Well, Simeon Woods Richardson pitched Saturday. Almost identical numbers. Both threw 6 and a third, 6 hits. Okay, Simeon Woods Richardson had 1 earned run. Paddock, 0 earned runs. Both had 6 Ks and 0 walks. Super impressive. 93 pitches for Paddock tonight, 92 for Simeon Woods Richardson Saturday. So, again, almost identical numbers from Saturday's game with Simeon Woods Richardson. But you're right, man. I mean, that's a big boy outing from Chris Paddock tonight. I guess what the report cards say on him and what role has he played in this rotation? Kind of big picture, if you take a step back, the last month or so for the Twins.
Well, first off, he kind of talked about Simeon Woods Richardson's start, and I'll even go back to Joe Ryan's start on Friday night. 2 great starts from your rotation, but when you don't get that run support, everybody forgets about it just right away. And so to be able to get just that little bit allows us to say, this is a really nice outing for Chris Paddock, who, didn't have a great outing at Yankee Stadium. Not a lot of Twins do, but it really felt like he was just confident. And I mean, this Rockies team is a good lineup to be confident against. Justin Morneau mentioned it on the Twins broadcast. He topped out his fastball today, career high, 98 miles an hour. I think Baseball Savant has it at about 97.6, but I'll round up. I'll go with 98 miles an hour. Just the fact that he was able to throw that effectively really helped out in this start. And just when you play a bad team, you're at home, you got a little bit of run support, you can just be confident and throw it. He gave up 6 hits in the game, but all of them were singles. And it felt like outside of that first inning where they got a couple back-to-back, you immediately get the double play. Royce makes a nice play. You just set yourself up. You strand all those singles and never have that big home run, double, whatever it is, no walks. You don't really have that comes back to bite you, and that helps out a lot. And as Paddock's kind of overall role in this rotation coming into the season, it was, middle of the rotation guy. That was kind of the role he was expected. We knew Pablo was going to be towards the top, expecting Joe Ryan to take that next step. You had Bailey Ober kind of behind him, and Paddock, can he slot in as that 3-4 starter in the middle of the rotation? And overall in the season, he's had a couple bad starts here and there, but if you're looking, every team needs a good number 3 starter, and Chris Paddock has been that for the Twins this season.
Yeah, and then how about the job of Okert, Jax, Castillo coming in, finishing the job? I know Jax, 3 batters face, 1 inning of work, 3 strikeouts. I mean, this bullpen, it feels like it continues to be kind of a consistent strength of this team, does it not?
Yeah, I mean, that was something that we expected coming into the season. I think Fangraphs projected the Twins to have the best bullpen out of baseball. And
wow, I guess I didn't realize that. Okay. So
yeah,
they're living up to the hype.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason why is a lot of the veterans that they had. They weren't relying on if this guy takes a step up and that guy takes a step up, which they've done in years past. And it's worked out for them as the seasons went on, but they never had that early success. Well, having a lot of those veterans and, having those guys take a step up has really been big. I mean, Steven Okert has been the Twins' top lefty. Thielbar has been shaky this season. Funderburk hasn't quite taken on that role of a big kind of high leverage lefty, but Steven Okert has, and he's been a very useful piece for this team whenever they need to bring in a lefty. And coming into the year, people thought he was just going to be a low leverage mop up guy. He's earned those opportunities, and he comes in today throwing a lot of curveballs, and the Rockies hitters couldn't quite lay off. I mean, just overall that trade Steven Okert acquired for Nick Gordon, fan favorite, a guy who really didn't have a role on this team. Falvey ended up having a great trade there and bringing him into Minnesota, but Griffin Jax taking that step up, Yohan Duran just being the guy that we know he can be. Griffin Jax, I think if there's a guy who's most deserving of an all-star appearance out of this team, it might be Griffin Jax. Now, it's tough with the American League and relievers, and typically those primary setup men don't get in. It's typically the closers, but if you're just going based off who you think kind of earns it, not so much who you think will get it, it's got to be Griffin Jax. He's got a nasty pitch mix, and really, as you saw in the game today, struck out the side and made it look real easy.
Yeah, that speaks volumes, what you just kind of broke down there. And absolutely, he has been fantastic. And again, just a rock, just an anchor in that 7th, kind of 8th inning role. All right, Rocco report time. Favorite, least favorite move or decision from today's game, Game 1 versus Colorado. The Rocco report, it says what?
So I have a mixed Rocco report here today, and it's about the same decision. So he pulled Chris Paddock early. The pitch count was getting close to 100. I get it. It's still June. I understand the decision to take him out. I would have liked to see him kind of finish off the 7th inning just because it felt like he's been rolling. The Rockies are not that potent of an offense. I get that you're only up 2 runs. You still, all it takes is a bloop and a blast to kind of bring you back in that ball game. But I thought just the way he was looking, especially late, really felt like he was kind of settling in. Thought maybe you give him that opportunity, but also they bring in Steven Okert, who we just talked about has been good. You look at the 2 hitters, and this is why I like the decision, or at least I'm okay with it, is you look at the name escapes me with the guy who brought in. He was a switch hitter. His numbers against lefties has a sub 700 OPS, so below average. Against hitting lefties. And then the guy behind him, again, name escapes me, looked up his splits as well, sub 700 OPS against the left-handed pitcher. So it's the right move in the game. I'll give Rocco credit for sticking to his guns and kind of making sure it's okay. As a fan, I would have liked to see Paddock kind of finish off that really good start he had.
Yeah, well said. That's a pretty good one. All right, don't go anywhere. We got our deep dive nerdy stat of the day. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Right now, playoff time in the NBA and NHL, not to mention baseball, obviously in full swing. That means FanDuel is your #1 place to be to bet on all the action. Check this out. Right now, new customers, you're getting $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Right now, Boston Celtics, 1.5-point underdogs in Dallas versus the Mavs in Game 3. Over-under for that one, sitting at 213.5. Plus, you can always bet on everything. Slap shots, home runs, slam dunks, all on the app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. So, what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon. Make your first bet a huge win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and official sportsbook partner of the MLB. All right, this was from Aaron Gleeman, who I quote on the show quite a bit, the geek on Twitter. And this was June 8th, so 2 days ago. So keep that in mind. But he says, during their last 25 games, the Twins ranked dead last out of 30 teams in batting average at 206 and third worst in runs scored per game with 3.2. They've scored 17 total runs in 7 games this month. Now, I got to say, they've just scored 16 runs in their past 2 games. But when you hear that stat, what's the first thing you think of? And is there something maybe tangible that you can put some of the blame on, or has this been kind of a total team effort?
It's been a team effort with the lack of offense it typically has been, and it just kind of goes to this ebb and flow nature of this offense. And it was like that a little bit last year too, but in a different way, because the Twins, although Royce Lewis had a big home run today, I mean, the home runs haven't quite been there as much as we expect the Twins lineup to be. And not that that's been their identity. They're not trying to be the Bomba squad every single year. I think that era of Twins baseball, or that kind of group, isn't, it's just a thing of the past, but they're a team that likes to be top 5 in baseball in home runs, and they're not quite at that level yet, at least at the last time I checked. And it's just kind of felt a little off. And that means that you need to rely on your guys getting a lot more hits. You need to rely on guys hitting the doubles and the singles. It requires more than just one big swing to generate some offense. That's not a bad thing. That's neither here nor there, but it's just, they have a tougher time being able to string those hits together. It's why when the team is hitting well, it feels like the whole lineup is, because it takes everybody kind of coming together to hit. And you saw that today, just a few guys piecing some good hits together.
We talked with Theo on Saturday. I asked him, hey, is the hitting and offense down? Is scoring down just in general across the league this year compared to other years? He did confirm, yes, those numbers in general are down, but I didn't ask him any rhyme or reason what maybe you attribute that to, if you had to guess why.
I mean, if you want to get your tinfoil hat on and be a conspiracy theorist, you could say it's different baseballs. I know there's a lot of fans of Atlanta on Braves Twitter that are really kind of in this thought that they are getting dead balls, where the rest of the league is getting a little ones that have a little more ability to kind of.
Those poor Atlanta fans, man, they got it rough.
It's been so tough for them the last 5 years. Yeah, I know. But yeah, I mean, so if you want to get your conspiratorial hat on, you could say that baseball's they keep shaking up what baseballs they use, and depending on the grip, and it just means that the pitchers aren't quite able to locate it. It means it's going to hang a little bit. Some of them are able just to carry a little bit in the air. That's a conspiratorial view. The other view is just kind of baseball's weird. There's some ebbs and flows. Yeah. And it just happens to be a year where that's not taking place. But yeah, it really does feel like just the scoring is down, and that just might be where baseball's at. I know that there's only, I think Aaron Gleeman put this on Twitter yesterday. There's only like 5 teams in baseball, or 7 teams in all of baseball, that have above 500 records. It's a crazy thing. So as weird as the Twins have been this season, they're still like a top 10 team in baseball by record, because everybody else just is at 500 or below. It's just a very weird season across baseball. Yeah, kind of top heavy, it feels like, with some of these powerhouse teams. Yankees, Dodgers, obviously they had a great 3-game series this weekend. If anybody caught that, that was pretty cool. But you're totally right. Twins, as bad as it has felt at times this year, still in that top third of the league right now, which is crazy to think about. All right, nerdy stat of the daytime. Give us a crazy stat, fun analytic, Twins related. Lay it on us. What do you got? So Royce Lewis, of course, hit that home run that really just kind of put the exclamation point on this game and put it out of reach. And not only was that big, but it also meant that you could sit Duran. He pitched on back-to-back games and felt like they were maybe going to overextend him a little bit. You can bring in Castillo in the 9th, but it was about that home run, because Royce Lewis, when he got out, I can't remember what inning it was, but his previous at bat, he had a ground out on a curveball, and the exit velocity was about 107 miles an hour. His launch angle, -3 degrees. He smothered that thing into the dirt. And if you watch Royce Lewis, he's not quite on top of those curveballs, but he's more of been a fastball hitter in his career. He's still kind of learning. Mentioned that on the last show, that he's still a guy who's kind of growing up and trying to learn how to play Major League Baseball on the fly. Well, the next at bat, he's facing reliever Nick Mears, and he gets another curveball. And after seeing him in the previous at bat, I know it's a different pitcher, sure, but still, your timing's kind of gotten used to that. He hits one 107.5 miles an hour. This one is a launch angle of 31 degrees, and that one's going out with a distance of 435 miles an hour. So that's Royce Lewis kind of learning in real time. He's been a little too over-eager on those curveballs. They gave him a healthy dose of them. He proved that he can make the adjustment and hit one out.
Yeah, that's a great one. I, for one, love the technology that they've introduced in the MLB the last 5, 6, 7 years. Now you're getting, again, velocity, right? Swing angles, all those things.
You're now
that
getting
you just
bat
mentioned.
speed, which is crazy.
Bat speed. I mean, it's just really cool to see some of the advancements, not just technology, but how it's blended in with the game of the MLB. Pretty cool. All right, don't go anywhere. Got to preview Game 2 versus Colorado. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode also brought to us by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, patience, what brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. And eBay Motors, they got everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to the ultimate peak performance. From superchargers to roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, eBay Motors, they got it all. And whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors, they got you covered. Check this out. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, your part guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay's Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Okay, Game 2 versus the Rockies tomorrow. Feels like Twins just got to keep this momentum going now. Back at home, got a lot of winnable games in front of you now. Not sure who's on the mound tomorrow for this one, but what's the quick scouting report look like? And when you look at this homestand, what's your idea of success got to look like for this team?
Well, we talked about the 10-game homestand on the last show I was on Friday night, and just the importance of this stretch, because the Twins have faced, Houston's a team that's starting to play well, still not quite great. You get swept by the Yankees. You don't have a great road trip, but you have such an easy opportunity in front of you. And the last time the Twins had that, they rattled off 13 straight wins and won like 17 out of 20 or whatever that number ended up being. And they have a spot to do that again over the next 10 games on this homestand, playing 3 against the Rockies, 4 against the A's, and then I believe 3 against Tampa Bay. So you have that opportunity right in front of you to do that. I think if you can, again, go 7-3 in this stretch and pull yourself back up, just a really, really good opportunity for this team. They were able to do it tonight, winning 5-0, but still got a lot of baseball in front. Now, on who could potentially be there tomorrow, I don't know. Like, everybody wants David Festa. He's the Twins pitching prospect.
Oh, that'd be
one
fun.
Of the top pitching prospects in the system. He's been starting to kind of hit his stride in AAA. A lot of people are waiting to see if that's the move. Doubtful. He's not on the 40-man roster. They'd have to option somebody. Most likely it's probably Louis Varland, just because all it takes is to send down a reliever for a day and then make the swap the next day. I feel like it's got to be Varland. That's just kind of what my gut says, and kind of give him an opportunity to bounce back and wash away the taste after the, April was not where he wanted it to be.
Yeah, feels about right. I'm sure if there were some odds and spreads in Vegas, as much as Festa would be the fun, sexy, cool choice, I feel like it's got to be Louis Varland. We'll find out, though, soon enough. And as I've mentioned, too, talking about this 10-game homestand, again, Rockies, A's, Rays, all at home in a row, and then A's again, who I know aren't as bad as maybe when you think Oakland A's baseball. Maybe not quite that bad, but still well below 500. And then the Diamondbacks were about a 500 team as well. So 16 super winnable games. I'm not going to say you're going to win them all, but you win 10 out of 16 or something like that, and you get the first 10 at home. Again, Twins just got to take advantage of that now. Give me one big storyline throughout the league the last week or so. Who's hot, who's not? Yankees, Dodgers, I mentioned. That series was pretty fun this weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that was just that back and forth, and having two, not just two of the better teams in baseball, but of course it's LA versus New York. So everybody's just going to be on top of that thing. Yeah. You have Shohei Ohtani, you have Aaron Judge, you have Juan Soto, you have Mookie Betts. I mean, they're like top 4 players in baseball. It's insane. And just overall to see those two teams go at it. Yeah, everybody pokes fun at how the Yankees are always on Sunday Night Baseball, and I'm one to poke in on that fun, but to have a blue blood matchup like that and have those two teams go at it in a really fun game and a really fun series, it's a World Series preview, and it definitely justifies that national stage. And it's just crazy to see those two teams yeah, obviously Guardians have the number 1 record in the American League, but the Yankees are right behind them, and the Dodgers have the best record in the National League. So to see those two teams go at it in a June game is really, really fun to see.
Yeah, felt like, and I know we got a lot of baseball to be played, felt like a possible World Series matchup, World Series preview watching those two. We'll see, though. A lot of baseball to be played. All right, last one. Twins new jerseys coming out. Like them, love them, 50-50 on them. Thoughts on those? And for the people who don't know, like, what's kind of the meaning behind them in the first place?
So, like every Minnesota kind of alternate uniform, they got to pay homage to the land of 10,000 lakes. The Twins have not just the blue jersey, but blue pants. I know that's a bit controversial. Some people want the white pants. I like it. I like it as an alternate uniform to kind of have the blue pants with the blue top, blue hat as well. There's a little bit of yellow in there, which I think is because of the North Star. I think it's to make the blue pop a little bit. I think I saw the Nike on like almost all the City Connects that had blue and yellow. So I don't know if they had extra fabric laying around that they needed to use up or what, but overall, I think they're fine. I don't love them. I'm not like going to go buy the jersey today, but I don't hate them as like a thing that they're going to wear like 10 times throughout the season. It's fine. It's a nice little palate cleanser to kind of mix things up. The thing I am most excited about with the uniform is the hat, because it has the lakes. I think it's got the silhouette of Minnesota.
Yep.
And then it's got the little yellow kind of trying to think of like trim outline kind of deal to make it pop. And then underneath the brim of the hat is like a topographical outline of Lake Minnetonka.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's sweet. And my one thing is somebody who lives in greater Minnesota, no disrespect to Prince, no disrespect to Lake Minnetonka. I'd like to see us kind of shout out some other lakes, right? Like I know the Wolves had theirs and they were on Minnetonka and they kind of did a lot of that stuff. I get it. I get why. Like to see us, throw some out there to like Detroit Lakes or like Red Lake or something like that, give everybody else a shout out.
Well, there's only so much room on there, though. We got 10,000 lakes to choose from, man. So we got to kind of pick and choose a little bit. But I get it. I totally get it. You're right. Lake Minnetonka, kind of number one on a lot of people's power rankings. Steel's coming to the spotlight sometimes, for sure. Are they wearing these this year? Or is this a preview for like years to come? What is kind of the schedule or time frame on these new jerseys?
I believe that they're going to wear them every Friday home game and some select Saturday home games for like the rest of the season. I think that's it. I know they're going to wear them twice in this weekend series. So, I've heard a lot of these City Connects, like when you see them on social media, they look weird. And then you see them in a game and you're like, oh, they're not so bad. And I think that's a lot of Twins fans who are upset over how the uniforms look. I think once you get into a game setting and you see them wear it like on TV, I think a lot of people just kind of go, okay, like it's fine. It might not be your favorite uniform, but it's not like a sin to baseball.
No, and it's nice to switch it up once in a while. Who's kidding who? 162 games. Come on, man. Just to have another one in the rotation, in the closet, it's kind of nice to choose from for sure. All right. Always fun talking Twins with you. Per usual, Twins win game 1 versus Colorado 5-0. They've now won 2 in a row. Game 2 of 10 in a row, all at home. That starts tomorrow. So if you've been trying to catch a home game, now's the time for sure. First pitch, another 6:40 p.m. Central Standard Time start. As always, huge shout out to everybody that joined us on the stream. Rest assured, we'll be back each and every game, same time, same place, right here. Going to break it all down. And quick reminder, gotta go check out all of CJ's work on Twitter at BaumCJ30, plus all the work he's always ripping up over at ZoneCoverageMN.com. Plus, if it's not too much trouble, go like the video, go subscribe to the channel, help us get to 8,000 subscribers. That's always much, much appreciated. All right, that'll do it for us tonight. CJ Baumgartner. I'm Luke Inman on Twitter at Luke_Spinman. We'll see you next time. But until then, signing out.